Well, hey, welcome back to the North Florida Sports Network.
All right. Day after FSU, North Alabama. Man, Jordan Travis out for the year. Tragic leg injury, man. I know.
Yeah.
Sad.
It's real sad.
Feel it in the stadium.
Yeah, it was shocking, man. You know, everybody pretty much sat there quiet.
Yeah.
Stunned in silence.
Right. It was freaking. He knew it right away. I think he did. You know, he probably saw it.
Yeah.
Right. Shock.
Yeah, I think, for me personally, his reaction, instead of just, getting up and then you saw him slamming his hand on the ground, I think that's what, and then they showed it on the big Jumbotron. They showed one replay of it. You saw that foot dangling there, and that's it. Yeah. Everybody knew.
No.
You're talking about grown men kind of tearing up there.
Yeah.
Behind me, man. It was
a lot of people.
Yeah, it was a jolt.
Man, it was the culmination pretty much of his career. It was his last game. A game probably he didn't even really need to play in.
No, he didn't.
They were down 13-0.
Yeah, you're not going to keep him off the field.
No.
Nobody expects him to not dress for that game and play his final home game. I mean, that's, it's football.
Right.
It's just the worst thing that could possibly happen for the kid happened. And it sucks. I think the reaction from the crowd at Doak really indicative of just how much the fan base has grown to love this kid as the leader of the team.
Yeah, I agree. He's really turned this program around.
Yeah.
He's been the face of it.
And you say, we've had other guys that have been here for, 3-4 years and been the quarterback most of that time, but nobody's really gone through the adversity and the peaks and valleys that Travis has.
Yeah.
And he's not in the modern.
No, not in Florida State.
Yeah.
And you just feel for a kid that does everything right, has gotten better since day one he was here, and you hate to see him get carted off on his last game. It just breaks your heart.
And then you start thinking about it. It's just, his last game, they're down. Didn't even get to put a touchdown on the board like he's done for so many games in a row. It sucks.
Yep.
There's no other way to put it.
The team was emotional. Trey Benson was in tears.
Yeah, there was a lot of guys that were in tears, that were just, visibly, even up there in the stands, you could see visibly shaken by what they had just seen.
Yeah.
Fortunate that it was against North Alabama and the outcome of the game wasn't affected by it.
Well, after that, Florida State finally woke up after being shut out in the first quarter, 13-0. They went out and 58-0 the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And I know that's against an inferior opponent, but you were struggling with them. The team responded nicely.
And another unfortunate thing is, at least with this last part of the season, the last half of the season, the team has kind of needed something to wake them up in the game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like I said, for this game, it was the injury.
Right.
But yeah, they woke up.
Right.
The focus, North Alabama, they hit some really good trick plays.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of them in their bag that they were coming into the weekend with. The fake punt was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it wouldn't have happened against your favorite team, but it's you can't really. It was great. It was a great call.
Not to think about anything right now.
Yeah.
In terms of the game, because your Heisman hopeful, the senior leader, the reason that you're in this position, he's now out.
Yeah.
The AP poll has got FSU at 5 as we look this morning. That's to be expected. I would expect the same thing Tuesday night.
Right. I think,
But I don't think
that's
going to matter in the end.
I don't either.
They're still going to make it.
I think if Florida State wins out, I really think it's going to be hard for them to keep them out. But
you have to put in you can't you can't put in. You got to reward a team that goes undefeated, and then they're going to have tough games after this, so they'll have a chance.
Well, that's
to see what kind of team they'll be after Travis is gone. Now, if they go out and lose, then yeah, you're right. But if they go out and win,
if you go undefeated, unless Louisville just gets blown out by Kentucky, you're going to be playing a ranked Louisville team in the ACC title game. If they beat Kentucky, they're going to be in the top 10.
Right.
So, Florida State just wins out.
I mean, the quarterback's coming into a loaded offense. He's just got everybody else steps up and has to show that this team can be just as good as it was.
Right. There's going to be a lot less ability of extending plays on the offensive side. So I think they're going to have to call games a little bit differently.
Right.
Some of those routes that they call, and they kind of count on Travis to keep the play alive long enough for those slow developing routes. I think they're going to have to start doing just one or two read with Nate. He's not going to be able to sit back there, extend plays like Travis can, but he can sling it.
Yeah, he's got a good arm. He's got some mobility as well.
Yeah, and mobility and escapability, different thing. I mean, he can move fine. He's not afraid to run it on the read option. It's just going to really be about keeping him upright so he can throw it downfield.
Right. He finished the game 13 of 23, 217 yards.
Nice throws in that game. Other plays, it's just
what was so efficient and good about Jordan Travis this year is the way he didn't turn the ball over.
Right.
And that was the reason that FSU has been on this winning streak. Since last year, when it started after the 3 losses, you saw him cut the turnovers pretty much out. And
since that, and that's been his game.
And that's the first thing that you think about with Rosenhoser.
Yeah, and I think it's not unlikely to expect him to throw a few interceptions in the next couple games. He's going to be, his first true test. If you can just keep them from happening at crucial times.
Yeah.
Because I don't, it's hard to imagine this team being able to overcome the kind of stuff they were able to overcome with Jordan Travis back there, but doing it with Rodemaker.
Playing the clip, man, I didn't mean it literally. Like in the first half, I meant it like in the second quarter after Jordan Travis has a few touchdowns.
Yeah.
Warm up. You're going in.
Well, next man up. You gotta win for Jordan Travis.
Right, and like you said,
I think
you're stepping into an offense where you have weapons.
Right.
Still got Keon out there. Johnny Wilson, not 100%, but he's going to not be 100% for the rest of the season. It is what it is.
Yeah, if he's out there, though, that's a big target to have.
Some old high school teammate in Jaheim Bell for Rodemaker. They're both out of Valdosta. So I don't think that the guys are going to be, shaken or have any less confidence that the ball's going to get to them. But, everybody's going to have
to step up a little bit more.
Yeah, step up a little bit more to pick up that leadership. Yeah.
And I think this team has leaders in place to do it, but man, you lost the heart.
Yeah, but
the snake has been injured, but he's going to be with him.
And you saw the amount of comments from his teammates after the game on both sides of the ball. I mean, as many defensive players, rallying up, giving it, having his back, telling him to love him. Like this whole team is going to step up to try to, just win these last couple.
You got to do it for him. Oh yeah, I mean, I can't imagine how. Like it's definitely going to inspire them more because of what he's meant to the program. Because of what they fought through together.
Yeah.
He's seen it. At the worst part of this program,
without question,
and he gets it to where it's taken. Undefeated with a chance to make it to the playoff and then to get that taken away from you on a
the guys in the locker room see it when they watch.
It's that hip check kind of tackle, man.
Yeah, the hip drop tackle.
Drop tackle. Apparently that's the same one that the tight end for the Ravens. That's
there's some debate about whether they're going to try to outlaw it in the NFL or make it a penalty. But the real consensus is that it's really hard to police. I mean, guys are moving so fast. You got to stop somebody.
Right.
Like, it's just one of the.
Eventually, it's just going to be flag football.
Yeah.
Keep doing that. But
it's a contact sport.
Yep. It was a freak injury, and it's just sad. Jordan Travis, though, we remembered as an all-time.
Oh, dude,
State.
He's going to have his,
Now you have, if Jordan Travis would have played, if anything bad happens, you have that.
You better believe I'm going to be wearing that out. Any excuse, any loss we have from this point out, no matter who wins the national title, I'm going to bark in their face. Whatever. We would have smoked you guys with Travis.
Well,
whether it's or not.
I think Trey Benson's going to have to step up big time. He needs to be, and that's catching the ball and running the ball. This is your star on offense.
If there is any kind of silver lining in this, which there really probably, I mean, you hate to call it
leadership.
That.
On the team, he is.
It now kind of forces you to not be able to rely on just one player anymore. And I think they definitely early in games, I think they do that this year with Jordan Travis. They kind of just expect him to make plays, as soon as he trots out there. Call the game a little differently in the second and third quarters once they settle in. I think you got to start right away. Right. You got to come in with that game plan scripted.
People are gonna be watching, and it says in the bylaws of the committee, but that you do take into effect who's playing or who's not going to be able to play and who's coaching. We saw it a few years ago when Brian Kelly left, was going to LSU. That affected their way they looked at Notre Dame. So
right. That raises a couple questions.
Time though, you have two. I don't care what anybody. This is like the Clemson game. It's the record's not going to show people how tough this game coming up is. And now Florida though, they're reeling. Graham Mertz broke his collarbone in the second half of the game at Missouri.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing that happens to the two schools.
It is
the same night.
Right before both guys having good years. Graham Mertz
was doing phenomenal.
Yeah, he was. He was having a really good.
I mean, he's not the best because Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the country, and he's also in the SEC.
He's been really efficient.
Yeah,
and he has been really a solid performer for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. From the little bit I saw of Max Brown, the backup that got in, his legs are going to be what's going to give Florida State fits. Yeah. Okay. You think back to the Boston College game. So have you learned anything about that?
Yeah.
Because that's a really good comparison in terms of, offensive line and quarterback. Florida's got better skill players.
Yeah.
They got a better running back.
Yep.
They got better wide receivers. I don't know that they have the defense even with Shetta, but that's what. But you just lost. You had a wild card thrown in there.
Man, you saw what Jordan Travis did in this game last year.
Yeah,
Houdini acts he pulled off.
Yeah, and that. Yeah. Oh my God! If they still had the defense in front and personnel that they had last year in this game, I don't think we would really have much of a chance. The fortunate thing for Florida State is they've had to really commit to blitz. Florida's had to commit to blitzing and bringing a lot just to get pressure on the quarterback. But it's now is the time for the offensive line to play their best football of their lives.
Right. And speaking of the offensive line,
I saw Mo Smith go down. I mean, he's been banged up all season, just gutting it out.
Washington's very versatile, though.
Yeah.
He can slide in and play.
And he's improved. That's something that he's had to do throughout his career is filling at spot duty. And when he first started doing it, he was horrible.
Yeah.
The snaps were
really huge. You took the guys who handle the ball on offense every play.
Every play, and replaced them. You now have a new center, and you now have a new quarterback.
That is huge. Yeah. That is huge. Now, we'll see. They have capable players that are going to fill their shoes, and everyone else around them needs to just step up their game.
Right. And there's no expectation of any drop-off within the program in terms of knowing your responsibilities, assignments, expecting to go in there and operate well, be successful. It's
reminiscent of what was it, 1998?
Yeah, Winky going down.
Winky went out, and later in the season,
I would be man, even as good as Keon has been, I would feel a lot better if we had Peter Warwick on this team.
Yeah.
That everybody talks about, we beat him without Winky. But
that you might be able to use him and use some of these skill players more with simplified roles. Maybe get the ball early, a little screen pass. But you got to get hit.
I think you're going to see them. They're going to have to get a little more creative than they have been all season. They're going to have to no longer go out there and expect that, all right, Jordan's going to be able to make the right read. No matter what, he'll find somebody open. You're going to have to start scheming to where like read 1 and read 2 are going to be there, and the running game's going to have to start hitting early and often. But man,
so modern football is, we don't have a toolbox. We like to say we have a tool shed of scheme.
There it is.
There it is.
It was going to be multiple 4-down front teams.
Austin Armstrong,
the Gator defensive coordinator, talking about his play.
He gets thrown around quite a bit. Now, is he talking about his defense or what people say about him? So, that guy's really, really highly strong.
I'll say already after the game. Like us that are
multiple.
No.
Multiple.
Yeah. Well,
but the thing is like, do you do one? Are you good at one thing?
Yeah. Right.
The answer for them is no.
Right. So, I mean, Florida State is going to have to score the ball a little bit in this game.
Yeah.
You would think.
Man, this team that
last year was the most points in the rivalry's history.
Right. And this team that they're playing, this Florida team is coming in.
They have to have it.
This is it, man. This is Billy's life.
Yeah. This
in terms of
oh my goodness,
coach and like
they put up a good fight at Missouri. They probably should have won the game. As an FSU fan, I was hoping that Florida won this game.
Man, I was too.
I was hoping that Florida would win, so they didn't need
something extra to play for.
Honestly, it doesn't matter. Florida lost to Missouri 33-31, so they'll have to have it.
And it's the way
5-6.
It's the way they lost, where nobody's. I mean, they wouldn't care that they almost beat them anyway. But you had the game won, had them 4th and 17, and you gave it to them. They got like 30 yards. I don't. Yeah.
So it's gonna. I mean, Florida State without their leader in the swamp, with a desperate Gator team.
Desperate Gator coach. I would expect to see
hungry.
Yeah, I would expect to see a lot of weird stuff from their offense.
They don't deserve it to be a night game, but it's going to be
pretty ridiculous.
Packed house in the swamp, and it's going to be a huge test for the Seminoles, regardless of Florida's record. I think. Well, another rivalry.
We finally this is the biggest test of the season.
Yeah,
you've been asking like. All season, it's been like, when is this? This seems like a big game, and now Clemson's lost 4 games. This seems like Miami's a dumpster fire. Well, now it comes in the way of adversity with their own program.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
Here's the test.
This is the test of where you're at. You just lost the leader, but I believe that what he's instilled in this team, that is Jordan Travis, is going to show through his teammates.
Yeah, and it's going to tell us. Yeah, it's going to tell us a lot about what we have going forward. What they're going to need to do in the off season. Mm-hmm. Are they going to need to be a little bit aggressive with the quarterback, possibly in the
see.
But just give them time. I really think they can make some plays.
Number 2 quarterback now.
Yeah, Brock Glenn.
He got in. He looked good.
He's got some quicks, man.
He does.
Some lateral quickness, some quick suddenness.
I like what I've seen in terms of his confidence. I like the way he carries himself. He looks like he believes in it.
I think he just kind of took it by the reins and stepped ahead of Duffy.
Yeah.
Duffy, nothing bad to say about him. I think he's probably just planning on transferring.
Well, that's what you're going to have every year.
Yeah.
You're going to have some. But now, there's so much to play for. You have 2 games left at the Swamp.
Yeah,
for your playoff, pretty much live.
And
after that, your conference championship.
The team that Tate beat last year when he had to step up for Jordan Travis.
There we go.
And the Louisville players are already tweeting stuff out about it. That's That's why it wouldn't shock me to see them lose to Kentucky. Like that whole team's mind is on playing Florida State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got Brownlee over there.
Brownlee's he's the main one.
He has to get.
Yeah,
I would just throw right at him.
I would too. Like, prove to me that you can stop it. Like you couldn't last year, and that was on Johnny Wilson.
Yeah.
Line him up against.
That's going to be a heck of a game, man. So
yeah.
I mean, if they win, like I said, you got to go to the Swamp in a rivalry game with Florida having to have the game.
Yeah.
Without your starting quarterback. I know they lost theirs too. And then you got to go to Charlotte to play a top-ranked Louisville team. That's just as tough as anybody else's, right, except for, I guess, beating Georgia if Alabama did that. But they lost.
Well,
they lost at home in the season.
Alabama also gets to play Auburn, who just got beat by New Mexico State by 3 touchdowns at home last night.
Wow. Yeah, that's an early nomination.
That's it is early nomination for unrealized. That's a 6-win bowl team in the SEC. Everybody talks about the SEC being this great deep conference.
I thought Auburn was showing.
Yeah, they were showing promise, and then Jerry Kill came in there and just absolutely.
That's insane.
Yeah,
they talk about looking ahead, and it's college football. There's more parity than ever.
There's parity, and the psychological aspect is way bigger than fans realize.
Yeah,
and kids these age playing football.
Yep.
It's honestly a lot easier to see that when you're up in the press box and watching the whole scope of it, and kids just making, who's got that sudden reaction and who doesn't. But dude, I just, man.
Yeah, it's
like you said, I don't think there is going to be a bigger test for a top team right now.
Mm-hmm.
The top 10 these next 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, and if you look at it, you have Georgia. They have to play Alabama.
Yeah, that's it.
It's going to be a tough
Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech isn't a rival.
No,
that's it.
You have Michigan and Ohio State.
That's
the
game.
That's going to eliminate one of them.
The winner that gets to play
Washington had a huge win.
Yeah.
To go and I did not see them winning it. They fought. They were able to get to the stops. They needed that win, and that's probably going to bump them ahead of Florida State.
Yeah, I mean they beat what was Oregon State was like number
top
12
10,
or something.
Top 12. Yeah, they're the top team.
So yeah. And that may have happened anyway, but even if Jordan Travis didn't get hurt this week.
Yeah, exactly. No, I believe that would have happened if they didn't get hurt because they were. But I still don't think it matters. If you win out, you're going to go.
Right. You can't. You can't tell an undefeated team that like the guy that just beat your rival and beat Louisville in the ACC championship game isn't good enough to be your quarterback in the college football playoff. That's essentially what they'd be saying. So
exactly. Right now, the people are just going to say stuff to get. That's the hot thing to say, and it's technically makes sense. But like you just said, you have 2 games, 2 of your tougher games on your schedule. If you can go in with your backup or who's now your starter and win those games,
there you go.
That shows you how strong of a team.
That shows team instead of just one player winning it for everybody. So, and that's kind of the criticism has been, Florida State without Jordan Travis, they'd be a 3 or 4 loss team. It's like, well, we'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
Yeah.
FAMU with the big win in the Classic.
There we go.
Have the SWAC championship coming up.
They finished that, 12-1?
Yeah. Got it rolling.
Like
big time recruits showing up.
What happened? What happens if they actually make the top 5 in the FCS rankings?
Celebration, man. They're gonna be Howard to be that matchup, barring an upset in the SWAC championship from FAMU. We also Florida. It's Florida week, so it's huge rivalry game. We're gonna look forward to that. Miami came up short against Louisville. Had them right at the end.
Like, dude, that's old Tyler Van Dyke, the guy that played against A&M.
I'm slinging around a lot, but wasn't to be as Louisville held on by a touchdown.
That was another just
right to the end.
Atrocious officiating game.
Like easy, just over the mouth.
Awful.
Really?
Yeah, awful. If I was Miami fans, they already don't like being in the ACC. This kind of stuff would make me just
yeah.
It was awful.
I mean, the FSU Miami game was one of the worst games I've ever seen.
Right, and it was. I think it was more. If it wasn't the same crew, it was, their homies. It was like there was some calls in that game that just made no sense.
Well, Florida State 11-0. We'll have one more regular season game in Gainesville. We're going to talk about that. The no basketball team, they got killed in Gainesville, down 30 at the half.
Yeah,
know what you do.
Well, you saw the two. You saw the two different styles, man. It's just bad matchup.
We got a football Monday coming up. We're going to react to a lot more things and talk more about this injury. Hope Jordan Travis gets better, and we'll talk to you next time right here in the North Florida Sports Network.
So, our ride is here. We got a shuttle.